Okay, let's roll it. My name's Jochen Wolters, and I'm a skeptic. And being a skeptic means that you don't accept any claims as being true unless they're backed by solid evidence. And the loftier the claim, the more substantial the evidence has to be. And there are some pretty lofty claims out there. For example, you can spend $850 for 30 minutes on the phone with Sylvia Brown, and she will tell you important stuff like the names of your guardian angels. That better be reliable information. If you want to have smooth skin and beautiful flowers and even cleaner laundry, you can substitute your tap water with this Austrian Revitalized water for just $15 a quart. And then there's this dowsing rod, and in all honesty, that model was sold to find drugs in students' lockers. I kid you not. Now, the problem with these three things is that there is no conclusive evidence whatsoever that any of these work. None. And yet people pay all that kind of money for that stuff. Why is that? Well, it has to do with how our brain tries to make sense of the world around us. For example, one thing our brain loves are patterns. And it tries to find patterns everywhere, which is great for recognizing a face in a crowd, for example. That's a very useful skill. Unfortunately, the brain also finds patterns where there are no patterns. I mean, like man in the moon or that statue on Mars that was discovered recently. That's kind of deceiving, right? And it's not just visual patterns and auditory patterns, but it also applies to things, how they happen in time. So when things happen at the same time, we assume that there is some kind of meaningful causal correlation between the two. That's great for learning because when you operate that switch on the wall and the light comes on, you can tell, oh wait, if I can operate that switch to switch on that light. Now if you would blow your nose and the light would come on, that's not some new magic that you discovered. That is the foundation of superstition. Because even coincidentally happening things to us seem like they're somehow related. And the key problem is as soon as our mind or as our brain has made its mind up, so to speak, as to how the world works, confirmation bias kicks in. And that's something very dangerous because our brain has been shown to actively seek confirming evidence and to ignore contradicting evidence. So in a way, our brain is pre-wired against critical thinking, and that is very dangerous. Now, thankfully, there is an antidote. And that antidote is called science. In fact, it's called good science. And there are the 16 postulates of science. And they characterize what exactly is meant by the phrase good science. And let me give you an example. Postulate number 4 says that scientific experiments must be repeatable or should be repeatable under similar circumstances. Now think back to that light switch. If you toggle that several times, you can confirm that yes, that switch operates that light. What's more, you can delegate that experiment to someone else. You don't need some kind of magical enabler for that experiment to work. Now, some people say, oh, don't worry, esoteric stuff is harmless. No, it's not. When people ask a psychic about whom to marry, when people use that revitalized water to treat a serious disease, or when people, in all honesty, this happens in some places in Asia, when they use dowsing rods to find explosives, when these things go wrong, the results can be catastrophic. And that kind of stuff should be based on fact and evidence, and not on some kind of woo-woo fiction. So ideally, every single one of us should be able to make their own well-informed judgments and not rely on other people to tell them what to think and what to believe. And if you want to learn more about this approach to rational thinking and skepticism, I have 3 resources for you and to find out more about the topic. This is a wonderful website by the Skeptics Society. And it has a wealth of information, and it's very well researched, very well written, and it is also very respectful in tone of voice, which is not unimportant in this subject. This guy is not quite as respectful, but as an accomplished magician, James Randi has recorded some pretty awesome videos where he's debunking all kinds of paranormal claims, and they're very fun to watch and very instructive too. And finally, this is a fantastic book by the late Carl Sagan, and in it he explains what the scientific method is, how you can learn how to apply it even when you're not a trained scientist, and also what the value of science is to society. My name's Jochen Wolters, I'm a skeptic, and I hope you will become skeptic. Oh, wait. There are these voices again, and I see this blue ball in space, and it talks to me, and it's Mother Earth, and she tells me to Don't worry, the end is not in 2012. Thank you.